Welcome back. It's Thursday. Stephen Carlson, First Vice President, Jenny Montgomery Scott, checking in for our weekly look at finance. We're going to start tonight with some local stories here. Some movement in the medical device industry. Of course, we've been reporting these all week long here on Look News. Dalcath, which is New York City based, has a Queensbury facility, announcing this week they're moving their headquarters from New York to Queensbury.
A little bit of good, a little bit of bad. This area is definitely known for the medical device side. You know, we've known nanotechnology, medical device, and this is kind of a necessary transition. You know, when FDA approval gets a little bit behind and things get a little extended, they've got a few months where they've got to do a little bit of cost cutting. And so this is actually a good thing for this area, because as they cut costs in some of these other places, it's going to mean investment here.
Yeah, the problem for Dalcath is they're waiting FDA approval to sell its liver chemotherapy system. Because that is still pending, the company just in the the last quarter, I'm looking for the number here, they lost $50+ million. They're in the R&D phase. They're not selling things yet, so they're saying we'll move from New York City. The amount of money we spend on rent in New York City in a month, we could live high on the hog in Queensbury for a year.
And things are looking good there. They've already started doing a little bit of selling in Europe, and I think things usually are a little easier to pass through on Europe's side. If it opens up on the FDA approval side, things could really look solid for this company.
Just to correct myself, net loss of $52 million in 2012. So a whole year, not a quarter. The bad news, which we've expected to come, is Covidien in Argyle closing 200 folks out of a job there.
Yeah, we've been knowing this is coming for a little while now. There's a certain inevitability, and hopefully the families and the people in the community have made those adjustments and are ready for the change.
It seems like the theme in the news, layoffs at Tetra Tech Geo in Schuylerville. They are a company to do environmental engineering and remediation work. 12 folks going there. So we're seeing some flux in our local job market here.
Yeah, there's this expansion and contraction going on, and with the environmental side of things, there was a lot of big projects, there's a lot of things on the go, and as things get a little bit slower, a little tighter, they're cutting back a little bit. So no big surprises, no major changes, but things are moving forward.
What is going on with the Dow and S&P?
Everybody's asking about that. We're coming into tax season. Everybody's trying to get the last-minute things done. S&P's at all-time highs. The Dow's taken off.
But our consumer confidence numbers are going the exact opposite way. So there is a huge disparity here in the market.
Well, there really is. I mean, I think most people may have some money in 401ks, may have some money in the side, but for most people, they're not really seeing the full benefit of the movement in the stock market. There's that disconnect. That's something that the Federal Reserve's talked a little bit about the challenge of making the average American see the benefit of that. So the hope is, as this stock market keeps going up, that it'll trickle down for the rest of us Americans.
All right, stay right there. We're coming right back with our second part of a look at finance, and we're talking about the late Margaret Thatcher, loved by conservatives here in the U.S., loathed by many British working class. We'll talk about her lasting legacy. Welcome back. I'm David Story. Alongside me, Stephen Carlton, as we continue our look at finance. She was known as the Iron Lady, loved by some, loathed by others. Margaret Thatcher, the first and only female Prime Minister of Great Britain. She died at the age of 87 on Monday. Of course, this is a story that has captured the headlines on both sides of the Atlantic for her legacy, whatever that will be, because there is two camps when it comes to Margaret Thatcher.
Absolutely. This is a strong-willed woman. This is a woman that set an unbelievable legacy and shaped the western part of the world without a doubt. Her work in Britain in changing things and adapting to a new global environment in the world, her work in restoring Britain economically, some of the visions were certainly controversial, but the Falkland Islands, working with the European Union in that integration, fighting to protect Britain's best interests. This is definitely a three-term Prime Minister that, without a doubt, is a wonderful, wonderful story.
As most of you folks at home know, I grew up in Scotland. Margaret Thatcher was the Prime Minister of Scotland as well as England, the United Kingdom. I was really conflicted when we were going to do this segment, because she did do so much good, but she did so much bad as well. If you were one of the miners, the mining strike of 1984, 1985, she ripped those communities apart. It was really a lot of hatred for her in those communities.
Yeah, it's one of those things that even as this country, we just talked about the stock market, all-time high, the haves and the have-nots. And one of the tragic parts of her legacy was that she wasn't able to bring along some of the working class Britons and people in that part of the world the way she desired to. So that is a mark on her history, without doubt. But she was a wonderful friend to America. Ronald Reagan and her had this enduring legacy, facing Russia and the communisms, freeing Eastern Germany and the facing with Poland. So there's some wonderful things that are worth looking at in this individual, and there's a lot of lessons, I think, as Americans would be well to look at.
A lot of lessons. We have to leave it there. We're out of time. Stephen Carlson, First Vice President, Janney Montgomery.
Thanks,
Scott,
David.
to see our weekly Look at Finance segment, go to our website. It's looktvonline.com.